Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA 5 video, I'm going to be showing you a super simple trick that is going to save you a ton of money during cell missions in Grand Theft Auto Online, and also might allow you to get some extra money along the way during your business stuff. So, easily one of the most frustrating parts about the Grand Theft Auto Online business cell missions, well, there's a couple of things. In my opinion, the fact that you have to do them in public sessions, that's obviously kind of a bummer. But one of the other things that Rockstar does is they give you a time limit. And this can be especially frustrating when you don't necessarily have a choice in the vehicle that Rockstar gives you. So the way that all the cell missions work is you basically get a vehicle that Rockstar chooses and they say, go get them. And that's pretty much it. And it could be like a slow garbage truck or a UPS van, or it could be a boat, or it could be a Dune FAV, or a super small and slow airplane. And when you get one of those and you have to make like multiple drop-offs and multiple deliveries, there can be a serious issue with not having enough time. Now, I'm sure the obvious response to that, and Rockstar even sort of gives you a warning before selling that, you know, it might be best to have multiple players doing this, but there's a couple of reasons why not every situation calls for other players. Number one, you might necessarily just be a lone wolf, like doing things by yourself. Number two, you might not have any friends or crew members on and don't want to trust your valuable cargo that might just drive the vehicle off a cliff or down the bottom of a lake, and then boom, you end up losing a third of your money just because you decided to get some rando in the lobby and he wasn't able to get the job done. Well, this trick that I'm going to show you guys today will completely eliminate the timer, essentially giving you an endless opportunity to take your time, not have to take any dangerous shortcuts or anything like that. And I don't necessarily think this is a new trick, but I actually saw this posted by a user, Santos RMRZ, on the GTA Online subreddit. And I don't know if he's the first person to figure this out, but that's actually the first place in which I saw this. And it literally couldn't be any easier. All you have to do is open up your phone just as the cell mission is getting underway. So I'll show you guys an example right here. So I've just walked into my methamphetamine lab. We got some Breaking Bad going on here. And I ended up doing a resupply. Obviously, I was a little bit low on supplies there. But I'm going to sell some stock. It doesn't matter where you sell it to, whether you go to the close location, the further location. I opted to go for the further location here because it would better showcase how something like this can be effective. And so when I click to sell, it essentially wants me to confirm. Then it takes me to a little bit of a black screen where I'm teleported outside. The second you get outside, you want to start spamming up on the D-pad or whatever button it is for you to pull out your phone. Because what this essentially is going to do is prevent guys like Lester, Agent 14, or LJT from calling you. And you might be wondering, well, what's so important about stopping Lester, Agent 14, or LJT from calling you? Well, the timer doesn't start unless they can call you. And so by keeping your phone up, you essentially prevent them from calling. And so as you guys can see here, this is one of those examples where it might have been a little bit difficult to complete this in the allotted time because I'm in this garbage truck, which is obviously not the quickest. It's certainly not a supercar or sports car by any means. And I'm on these dirt roads and I've got to drive it carefully without tipping it or anything like that. So you guys can see there that because my phone is up, the timer has not started. However, the mission has already started, which is quite convenient. So I'm not being timed as I'm going towards the city. How convenient is that? Now, there are a couple of downsides to this. Number one, you don't have the ability to sprint because with your phone up, you cannot access any of the normal buttons you would use to sprint or do anything like that. Also, while you're inside of the vehicle, you lose the ability to pull out any weapons and also fire them. Essentially, you can't do anything other than drive. And as long as you don't have anyone attacking you, that really shouldn't be a problem. But you do lose access to some of the controls that are going on here. Now, this actually worked really, really well. The only problem with this, speaking of losing control of being able to do anything, in this instance, you guys can see that I had more than one drop-off location. And this is where things are going to vary because there's a ton of different cell missions in Grand Theft Auto Online. But I ended up reaching my first drop-off location, and there's no way to hit right on the D-pad to drop off the methamphetamines. If you hit right on the D-pad with the phone up, it's just going to go back and forth between, settings, quick job, job list, stuff like that. So for this, I ultimately had to eventually close the phone when I got to location number 1. And the second I did that, you guys can see that LJT was anxiously awaiting to call me. And then after that, the timer officially started. However, that was nice because it was able to take the 5 to 6 minutes that it took me to get to Los Santos from Blaine County. It basically just removed that. Now, the timer has started, but now I have a surplus of 25 minutes to basically drop off 5 things that are relatively close to each other. So that's not all that bad at all. And even if I had multiple of these garbage trucks, I would still have plenty of time to grab them and take them to the deliveries. Because there's nothing worse than having like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 deliveries left and you just simply not having enough time to grab them and deliver them. That's literally money that you can just like light on fire. That's the equivalent of what you're doing. You're just not getting that for your character. So yeah, this is incredibly easy. It's literally something that everyone can do because every Grand Theft Auto Online player has a phone. Now, I will say this does work better in situations where you don't have to go to multiple locations, where you can just simply go from point A to point B, where you have one drop-off location. That is it. Because in that way, you're not even going to have to take the phone down. You can just go from the starting location to the drop-off point, and that's it. But like I said, every situation for cell missions is a little bit different, and that's just an example with the biker stuff. Although what's great about this is going to work with pretty much every cell mission in the game. Doesn't matter if you're doing the arcade stuff, nightclubs, gun running bunkers, motorcycle clubs, CEO, finance, and felony stuff. All of it works. In fact, the only thing I didn't test it with was the import-export stuff. And I'm sure it would work with that as well, although since you're driving most likely high-end supercars in that, it really shouldn't be an issue to go from point A to point B. The problem with the import-export stuff is you're trying to keep the vehicle in as good a condition as possible. Now, a quick disclaimer is this did not work every single time. I actually tried this on another cell mission, and I tried to pull out the phone very, very quickly, and my assistant called me like instantaneously. So if a situation like that happens where you're unable to stop the timer from going down, or you might get a less than optimal cell vehicle like the post-op vans, you can simply just close the application when that shows up. And what will happen is you will only lose like a fraction of your product. So I think it's like one case or something like that. And that's why I actually resupplied the methamphetamines before I started, because I knew if there was a chance I got bad vehicles, I could always close my application and just simply restart the process. It's very similar to methods we use for like spinning the lucky wheel, where if you don't get what you want, you can just simply close down your application and that'll allow you to re-roll things. So that's actually quite nice. It's kind of like a last resort if you're unable to pull up your phone. You can just simply close down your application and you'll be good to go. Now, one last thing I want to say about this trick is it does not work for sourcing missions. I just wanted to test it to see if this is something that you could utilize as well. The difference between cell missions and the sourcing missions is you're never timed. I guess because there's technically not any money on the line that you can actually make. Now, technically, you can do that. You can pull out your phone and stop, whether it's your assistant, Agent 14, LJT from calling you. However, you can't really start the source mission because you need them to call you before it actually appears on the map. So as far as sourcing missions go, don't worry about this. This is really only going to be effective for cell missions only because, like I said, there's no timer or anything like that anyways. The only timer that I noticed on the sourcing missions was when you actually collected whatever you were going to source. There was a global signal countdown of about 30 seconds in the bottom right, and I actually tried to stop that from going down, but obviously once it starts ticking down, there's no way to stop that. Players are going to be alerted of you in the lobby. But this tip is incredibly useful. I am going to be using this every single time I do business selling stuff now, because not having to be rushed means you'll probably be more careful on the missions. There won't be a chance of you having your cargo explode. Like what happened to me right here, I don't know what was going on. I was like delivering the stuff in the airplane, and all of a sudden I like jumped out. I swear I did not hit the exit plane button. So I don't know if that was a glitch or if my plane malfunctioned, whatever, but you will avoid situations like that, that's for sure. And you'll be able to end up making more money because you'll have the time to go through all the deliveries. So you'll get the max profit, which again is quite nice. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Have you known about this simple trick? If not, are you going to be using it? Let me know what you guys are thinking in those comments down below. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But, of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care. And I'll see you guys in the next video.